You know, many people refer to God as a higher power. And also people refer to God as we understand Him. And those thoughts occurred to me in a context that's maybe a little different than usual, and that is the context of a political scientist. Yeah, most of you know that I have a PhD in political science, and that and political science is really about the study of the allocation of power, how people get power, how people use power. That's why I've been involved in politics a good share of my life. So when I thought about power, and I thought about what I need to do to try to clarify my thinking in terms of God and power as a higher power, I thought of the 5 types of power that we talk about in my profession. And I think, first of all, I should clarify what what we consider power to be. Power is the ability to influence the behavior of others, to be able basically to get them to do what it is that you want them to do. That's just a necessary thing. We live in a world where we have to interact with people, and we have to have some kind of a power base. And if we don't have any power, if we're powerless, we have some pretty deep-seated problems that usually come out in terms of resentment and anger and some other things. So anyway, that's what power is, the ability to influence others. And so the 5 types of power are the ways in which we strive to influence others. And I'll just go over them very quickly. First of all, there's formal power. That's the organization chart. That's who you are on the organization chart. You know, that's the why should I do this? Because I'm the boss. That's why. So you know, that's certainly a major source of power for most people. And it even exists in the family. You know, how many times you say, well, why do I have to do that? Because I said so, and I'm the dad, right? It's formal power. It's organizational power. It's your organization chart. Now, if you rely on that kind of power, you're pretty limited, we know. So there are other things that tie into formal power that are probably more useful. So let's talk about those. Well, the second form of power is reward power. That's the power to give somebody something that they want. And you know the old saying, you know, the beatings will continue until morale improves. That's a joke, of course. But the fact is that if people, that's the old Pavlovian theory. You know, if you give somebody something that they want, and they know that if they do something that you want them to do and they'll get what they want, they'll do it. Okay, it's behavior modification. That's pretty simple. And yet it's a very, very powerful means to influence the behavior of others. Another one is the opposite of that. That's coercive power. That's the ability to hurt people, to do something they don't want. You know, fire them, ground them, whatever it is. That's coercive power. That's using power to hurt people, to do something that people don't want. It isn't necessarily hurting them, but it's doing something that they don't want. So it's a negative incentive to do what you want. In other words, I'm going to do it because I don't want you to hurt me. So that's coercive power. And a third or another kind of power is expert power. Expert power just simply comes from the knowledge that you have, and that people recognize that you have superior knowledge and insight into situations, and they acknowledge that by allowing you to influence them and their behavior and their thoughts because of your expertise, your knowledge. And then finally, there's referent power. Referent power is the almost exact opposite of formal power. Referent power is that I am influenced to do something that you want me to do simply because I really like you. I really care for you. I trust you. I believe in you. Referent power is in who you are, not what you possess. It's not the organization chart. It's not the ability to hurt. It's not the ability to reward. It's not your expertise. It's who you are. And that, to me, is the most important and influential form of power. I've often told students in my classes that managers manage, leaders lead, and you lead by people wanting to follow you, wanting to be a follower. So, what God and power? Pretty simple. Take a look at those 5 types of power. How do you see God in those 5 types of power? Do you see God on the organization chart, the theology that He's the head of the shed? Do you see God as able to benefit you, give you a reward? Your reward is in heaven, etc., etc. You see God able to hurt you, you're going to throw you to hell, whatever it is. You see God being an expert, all-knowing God. Or do you see God just simply as somebody that you feel close to, you love, you care for, you believe, you trust? And it's not one or the other. It's usually a combination of these things. But for me, it helps me take a look at my relationship with God and how I let God influence me to do the things I need to do in my life. I hope this is helpful to you. I'll talk more later on about some related topics. Take care on your own spiritual journey. Bye now.